going on, everybody? Welcome back to more reactions. My name is Jeff. Today we are going to be watching and reacting to, let's see, 10 greatest wrestling matches of the decade. This is from 2 months ago. So I don't think anything in the last couple months would quote unquote qualify for that list. So I'm assuming this is just WWE. I don't know if any of the other promotions are part of this list. Guess we'll find that out together. Anyway, let's see what they're talking about.
You know those years in which it's damn near impossible to choose the best single match out of the previous 365 days? Multiply the scope by 10 and you'll see the challenge we laid out for ourselves here. How does one look at a range of 3,652 days in which there have been tens of thousands of wrestling matches, many of them top shelf quality, and choose the very best among them? It's an insane, brain-clawing endeavor.
Actually,
even narrowing the list down to the matches that captivated you the most doesn't make it any easier, because eventually you're left with, what, roughly 108 matches to sift through? You can't leave this one out because you'd be doing it a disservice, but you got to include this one for historical significance. Can't leave the obvious choices out either, because picking just the sleeper hits disqualifies the ones who deserve it most. How does one come up with this?
So that's not going to be on the list.
Well, we here at Cultaholic, with a little help from our friends, engaged this towering beast head on and determined what we feel are the very best matches of the previous 10 years. And we're sure that you'll agree that we got this list completely wrong. Come on, guys, this was really hard. But first, a few honorable mentions. Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega at Dominion 2017, Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi at Best of the Super Juniors 26, DIY versus The Revival at NXT TakeOver Toronto, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 9, and Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan versus Batista at WrestleMania 30. Without any further ado, I'm Adam Pachisi from Cultaholic.com, and these are the 10 greatest wrestling matches of the 2010s. Join us! Number 10, Kazuchika Okada versus Katsuyori Shibata at Sakura Genesis 2017. This match has gained notoriety for causing the probable end of Shibata's career, due to a subdural hematoma sustained through the use of repeated headbutts. Combined with dehydration, Shibata experienced paralysis on the right side of his body, and he collapsed in the locker room following the 38-minute clash. While Shibata's harrowing predicament does cast a heavy cloud over the match, the bout itself is incredible, adeptly told with plenty of backstory. Shibata sought redemption, finally earning a championship bout with Okada after returning to New Japan 5 years earlier. He had a chance to finally make good on his long-standing promise, and in the match, he seemed to have the younger Rainmaker's number. Shibata out-wrestled the Rainmaker for lengthy stretches, even humbling him in parts. Shibata left it all in the ring, but the resilient and artful Okada managed to withstand so much punishment before polishing Shibata off to retain his belt. The heartbreaking postscript has, in its own way, enhanced the legend of this match, tacking on a bittersweet ending to what had been an extraordinary battle. Number 9, Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. It can be argued that this is the greatest women's match to ever fall under the WWE.
It should probably be higher than number 9.
Its memory and
I don't know if there was.
The naive yet determined Bayley was a perfect foil to the conniving, self-absorbed
start to finish,
and at long last,
from the opening
pre-match
package,
despite Banks
to the
already
entrances,
graduating to the main roster,
to the
she
match
was still
itself,
going to
to
give
the
her
start of the
NXT
match,
colleague
like
the
every
fight of
dog.
her life.
This match
While the main
was
roster
flawless.
counterpart was paying lip service
Even
to a
the
Stephanie
post-match
McMahon-endorsed
was
Revolution,
perfect.
NXT demonstrated evolution without the forced labels, as Banks and Bayley tore
Sasha
into
Banks
each other
almost
in
killed
an
herself a
aggressive
couple
and
times,
emotional showcase that Finn Balor and Kevin Owens struggled to try to follow. The
They could not
Bayley
follow that match.
finally getting her moment in the sun was the cherry on top. The satisfying
Finn
conclusion
Balor
to
and
what
Kevin
had been
Owens
a
could not
highly
follow that
engaging
match
and
at all.
rewarding match
They-
that topped
their
the
match
overall
fell
weekend
flat.
leaderboard.
The crowd was
Faced with the
dead.
largest crowd either had wrestled in front of before, and with 18 minutes to work, Sasha Banks and Bayley each delivered career-affirming performances. Number 8, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. If the last few years have taught us nothing else, it's to expect abject insanity reality when the words unsanctioned enter our ears. While Gargano and Ciampa's dance of death on WrestleMania 34 weekend didn't quite become the roving crime scene that was Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega, the hatred between the two was palpable enough to use as a blunt weapon itself. Gargano, fighting to get his job back, was finally going to get his hands on the treacherous Blackheart. Ciampa's natural dickheadery clashed with a Gargano that willfully sunk to his old partner's depths in fighting back, with crutches, knee braces, bare concrete, and the sort of desperate underhandedness you resort to when fighting for your life. After more than half an hour of getting the hatred out and a million callbacks to their shared history, we get the finish. Gargano showing apparent weakness when his former friend pleads for mercy, letting his guard down just enough to trigger Ciampa's attempted con before Gargano rips Ciampa apart through a poetic submission finish. From start to finish, it is an emotional roller coaster. Number 7, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada at Invasion Attack 2013.
I heard about it, but I never actually
Picking
seen
the
it.
best Tanahashi-Okada match is like choosing the shiniest ring at the jewelry store. Where do you start? In the eyes of many, Okada's tangle with IWGP champion Tanahashi at Sumo Hall was their most epic battle.
Okada's
Over
gonna
a
be on
year
this list a
earlier,
lot.
an ascendant Okada had beaten Tanahashi for the gold in something of an upset, but dropped it back to New Japan's unquestioned ace months later.
He's definitely
Was
gonna be
that
on this with
victory
Kenny
a
Omega.
fluke? Tanahashi's subsequent wins over Okada seemed to indicate as much. Okada won the 2013 New Japan Cup to earn this shot at the title, in which
Wrestle Kingdom
Tanahashi worked
match,
feverishly over
I think.
Okada's
Well,
arm, doing all he could to
everyone
nullify
has
the
different opinions as far as
dreaded
which
Rainmaker. When Okada
Omega
couldn't lift
match,
the arm during an attempted
Omega-Okada
pose,
match
it
was the
seemed the
best.
strategy had worked. Ultimately, Okada did
watching
land
it,
the
I
Rainmaker,
enjoyed
but
the
sure
first
enough,
one the
he was
most.
too pained to make the cover.
Yeah, maybe because I didn't
Summoning
know
his
this was,
reserve,
you know,
Okada survived the
I
high
wasn't
fly
really
flow and
familiar with
bounced
the
back with a
product, didn't
tombstone,
really know what to
followed by the
expect.
Rainmaker to capture his
So the
second
freshness probably
IWGP
added to
heavyweight
it, where
crown. Each
in the
subsequent
rematches
match
I kinda
only
had an idea
enhanced
what to look
Okada's
for,
burgeoning legend, with
even though
this
they were great
encounter
as well.
affirming his Pantheon-level status. Number 6, The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26. In our hearts, we all kind of figured this was HBK's swan song.
This match
In
isn't
story, he felt
bad.
the
It's
need
great.
to show the world he
It
could
was a
beat
good
The
match.
Undertaker on the WrestleMania stage,
It wasn't
agreeing
as
to
good
wager
as,
his career
Sasha
for
and
the
Bayley.
opportunity. At 44 years
It
of
wasn't
age,
as
with
good
an
as
endless array of
Gargano and,
remarkable performances to his
Ciampa
name
either.
and more match of the night honors than
Not
he has
this one.
pores on his skin, Shawn
Now,
Michaels had
the year
nothing
before,
left to
25,
prove, except
might
that
be
he
number one.
still had it. In true showstopper
Probably
fashion,
should be number
Michaels
one. We'll
delivered
see.
one more magnum
This
opus
one was
alongside
it was
one of
good.
his greatest
It wasn't.
professional rivals, coming
This could have
very
been like
close
number
to
10
equaling
if
the
it
rare
made
brilliance that
or
their match
honorable
1
mention.
year earlier had achieved.
For real.
Even
Like, I
knowing
don't even
this
know if it was better
probably
than
it
the,
for Michaels, we still bought into
I
every
forgot
near
what the
fall,
honorable
every bit
mention
of
was
second
besides
wind,
the-
and
or
every
which
moment of hope
Okada
up
Omega
until
match
Michaels
was-
painfully concedes to
I
Undertaker,
couldn't
demanding
hear
to go
which
out in a
match it
blaze
was.
of glory.
I assume they're
Other
not
linear
saying the
matches
entire
may have
series.
worn the end of an
Because if
era
they don't
label,
show up on
but
this
it's
list,
most
this would-
apt
I
when
mean,
applied
throw
to
this
the
whole list
last
away.
time Shawn Michaels proved to be the truest Mr. WrestleMania. Number 5, Volta versus Tyler Bate at NXT UK
Never seen this
TakeOver
match.
Cardiff. For many years, Sting vs. Vader stood in as the wrestling archetype of David vs. Goliath, the noble mortal versus the mythical beast.
Sting is my
Older
favorite
fans should
wrestler of all
forgive the
time,
ensuing
for the record.
generations for considering Bate vs. Volta the gold standard of that trope, because the brilliance in their
case
NXT UK title
you need a
bout this
trivia
past
question down
August
the
is
road.
more than enough to assume that mantle.
Sting is my
These
favorite
are
all-time
two
wrestler.
athletes who do no wrong, and against each other, they're doubly perfect. Bates' impeccable strength for a wrestler of his size was put to the test against Volta, and you know the crowd is hooked on the story when a simple body slam from Bate earns an enormous response. Volta has a way of making all of his opponents into overmatched underdogs, just like Vader before him, but Bates' particular gallantry
was
matches
amazing.
up against the
Vader
unsingable
in the Hall of
monster
Fame?
better than the rest. Try as Bate did, he just
Vader's in
couldn't
the Hall of
undercome Volta's
Fame,
fury,
right?
though Volta did have to resort
Was
to
it last year?
overkill to take down the smaller, yet
He better be,
stubborn
if he's
foe.
not.
The storytelling and physical
Or he needs to
execution
be
are
going in
off
soon
the
if he's not.
charts, setting
I think
new
he is, though.
standards
He
for
should
such
be.
matches of the type going forward.
Vader's one of the
Number
greatest big
4,
men ever.
Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega at Wrestle
This match
Kingdom
was great.
11. Thinking that this IWGP
This match
heavyweight
was-
title
I-
match was going to
I
achieve
think-
subjective
yeah, this
perfection
match was
wasn't
amazing.
much of a gamble.
Like, I really
Believing
didn't
they
know
had
who
3
either one-
sequels
well,
in
I'll
them
take it
that could
back.
potentially relegate this
I knew
clash to
Kenny
4th
Omega
on the depth
was.
chart with 4 spots sounds a wee bit crazy.
but I never,
ranking the
like,
4
really paid
Okada
attention to him
versus
as far as,
Omega
like,
matches has no
in-
real wrong answer,
I just knew he
though
was
the
part of
original
Bullet
clearly
Club.
holds up as a
Well, after this
semi-production.
match,
With a
he was-
G1 Climax
I was
victory
like,
in
he
hand,
might
Omega
be the best
ascended
in
to
the
this
world.
new challenge, probably not realizing he'd soon at least equal Tanahashi as Okada's greatest foe. The 40-plus minute match began slow, escalating with every high risk on Omega's part. Seeing this as his chance to reach the pinnacle of the sport, Omega threw more and more outlandish risks at the reigning champion to try to wrest away the gold. The table spot, the avalanche dragon suplex,
if you're a wrestling fan,
attempts at
or
the
if you used to
one-wing
be a
danger,
wrestling
which
fan,
Okada desperately
take the time out to go on
off.
YouTube
The champion
and
countered
look
with
up this
multiple
match.
rainmakers, a tombstone, and one more rainmaker for good measure. Omega may have come up short in this bite of the apple, but more importantly, he proved he belonged in the same realm as his deified opponent.
Shawn Michaels,
Number
Undertaker,
3,
WrestleMania
Cody Rhodes
25.
versus Dustin Rhodes at Double or Nothing. When the 50-year-old Goldust was announced as his brother's opponent for AEW's first ever event, most agreed that the promos were sweet,
I ain't
but
really
the
watched
idea
the
of the
match.
match
I'll
didn't
have to sit
quite
down
have
and
the
watch this match,
asterisk
but
crowd in a frenzy. 4 years earlier, the two underwhelmed at WWE Fastlane, and a planned WrestleMania clash was scrapped.
I
Even
have to
with
watch
the
this
ability
match.
to tell their own
I'm
story
not
without
gonna
handcuffs in AEW, few
overly
had the match
comment
tagged
because
as a potential match of the night
seen
or
this match,
year.
but I have
That
a hard
was
time believing
until they
this is
saw
better
it.
than
The majority
Sasha and
weren't
Bayley
expecting a
and
blood-soaked
Okada
grudge
Omega.
match straight out of an
Like-
early 80s Southern Territory, a contemporary take on those gritty battles of yore. At 50, Dustin has arguably never had a better match, the old gunslinger refusing to be put out to pasture by his hungry, enterprising kid brother. And for Cody, a supposed dispenser of so-so matches that exist under an apparent ceiling, he broke out as a genuine superstar through his own performance that night. When all was said and done, the brothers came together as one in a tear-jerking moment, both knowing that their legendary father was watching from afar, proud of his boys in their finest hour. Number 2, Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega at Dominion 2018. One win, one loss, one draw. That's what each man had against the other entering the figurative rubber match as Okada crept up on 2 full years as IWGP
Is this the one where,
heavyweight champion. This time,
Okada,
there would
Omega
be no
won?
draw. The time limit waived to go along with a 2 out of 3 fall stipulation that necessitated beating the other daunting foe twice. It took more than 65 minutes, but finally, Kenny Omega reached the mountaintop. Whether it's 7 stars or not, it's considered by many to be the true high point of a rivalry that transcends the very idea of what a great wrestling match is. With Omega the zealous aggressor and Okada the poised ring general, as is their custom, they warred for over 1 hour, Okada taking the first fall with a deft counter, thus putting a desperate Omega behind the 8 ball. But Omega fought back, pummeling Okada before pinning him in straight falls with the one-winged angel that served as Okada's kryptonite. The long chase was over, following a dual performance for the ages. Topping the magnificence of their earlier bouts seemed to be mission impossible, but Omega and Okada gave everything they had in finding a way. Number 1, John Cena versus CM Punk at Money in the Bank 2011. Recency bias could arguably play a role in the placement of some items in this video, which is why Cena vs Punk at number 1 feels all the more special. 9 years later, the people who saw it remember exactly how they felt witnessing it in the moment. When Punk vowed to get one over on his supposedly tyrannical overlords by leaving with their belt in front of his Windy City friends and neighbors no less, the stage was set for one of the most intense matches in WWE history. There was Cena and Punk, going move for move in a game of physical chess that many assumed was beyond the polarizing Cena's grasp. There were Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis on standby, waiting to assert control if things didn't go their way. Nobody knew how it was going to end or what to expect, and the drama was enough to make you tug at your hair. When Punk ultimately beat the system not only once, pinning Cena clean, but twice,
and it was great.
It
was a great night. It was a fun night. I watched the pay-per-view live. Like it felt different.
Punk's master plan was achieved after one of the greatest WWE matches of all time, and in our eyes, the
entire card was actually dope. To be honest with you, like that's one of the best pay-per-views they put on.
What you think in the comments down below.
In a long time, if you want to use the word ever.
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.
It was okay. Okay, let me sit on that one for a second. It's the most important match to me. It's definitely the most important match of the decade, and it was a great match. And the reason I say it's the most important match is because basically that match opened the door for everything that we're seeing with NXT. I don't think NXT the way it is right now would exist if it wasn't for that match. Fix my camera a little bit. Sorry about that. There we go. But yeah, I don't think that match. I think that match led the way for Daniel. It led the way for Daniel Bryan becoming Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are the two reasons that we have what we have now as far as NXT being set up the way it is within the world of WWE. It's the company's best product. And CM Punk, Daniel Bryan have everything to do with that. But more specifically, that match with John Cena and Money in the Bank is the reason that took place. Like, it was done perfectly, even with a few botches in the match. The crowd was hot. Punk, he broke out new apparel, which is always special when it stands out. That night definitely felt different. It felt different watching it in real time, and you knew you was watching something special, even before the match started. Like, you knew, like, okay, this is different than some of the bull crap we've been accustomed to watching up until that point. Because the pipe bomb interview promo was a moment, you know what I mean? So, but as a start to finish wrestling match is not better than Sasha and Bayley. It's not better than Okada Omega, any of them. It's not better than Gargano, Ciampa. And match they left off, Andrade and Gargano should have been on this list. I would have put that on here and took off Shawn Taker 26 for sure. Whatever takeover pay-per-view that was. I don't even remember what pay-per-view that was. Which one? But yeah, that should have been on the list for sure. But no, it's decent. It's not a terrible list at all. But yeah, I was thinking WrestleMania 25, but I forgot that's 2009, not 2010. So that was my mistake on that. But yeah, down in the comments, let me know what you think of this list. How would you? Are there any matches that you felt were left off? If you're going to say a match was left off, you gotta let us know what match you're taking off. You can't just say this match should have been in the top 10 but not removed. What match is coming off the list? What match are you putting on the list? And then what order would you make your list compared to what we saw here today? So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, click the notification button so you are made aware as soon as I drop another video. Share the video. Let's try to get this thing to 20 likes. And appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Stay safe. Use great hygiene. We're all in the house right now. At least we should be in the house right now. Quarantined up. Wash your hands. Just be mindful if you're going out, what you're doing. Be safe. Check on loved ones. Exercise. Try to eat as clean as you can. Because with no gym and not really supposed to be outside that much, it's hard to really get, you really got to depend on your at-home workouts. And my wife is really good at it. I struggle with working out at home. That's just, I like to be out and about. I like to get away. That's part, I like to get away to get in a good workout. So I'm struggling right now. So, but we'll get through this. There's more important issues going on right now, obviously. People, forced to be at home, not working, pay cuts, losing income altogether. So, it's a real tough time for everybody. But as it's a test of the human spirit, and in times like this, in times like these, is when we tend to, you know, not be as divisive and divided as we've been these last few years, which has been just grossly frustrating and just, you know, just bad. But we're in a situation where we're being pushed and forced to, you know, somewhat unite and look out for one another and realize that whether you look like me or not, we are all affected by this thing. Whether you, no matter where you are on the economic chain, we're all affected by this. You see the names, so you know it's a level playing field when it comes to what's going on right now. Fortunately and unfortunately. So you know, we just gotta, you know, just take care of each other. I'm gonna try to do more videos to, you know, try to take your mind off what's going on and just, you know, try to give an escape. It's an escape for me. I've been thinking about doing YouTube for a whole lot of years and just been, you know, for whatever reason, hesitated and, you know, had my doubts or whatever. And I just decided to just not worry about it being perfect and looking perfect and, you know, making it look like everybody else has been doing it for years. Like that's you know, I'm just trying to get in here, have fun, build up a little community, and just kick it. And the reason I'm doing this is to kick it for times like we're in right now. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Join the fam, spread the word, and just hang in there. We'll get through this together. And yeah, that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace.